Welcome into Bills Tonight Digital, presented by Hunt Real Estate, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills beat the Jets today 18-10, all of their 18 points coming from the rookie kicker Tyler Bass. He ties a franchise record with Steve Christie for most field goals made in a game, so the Bills are definitely happy to have that rookie on their team today. And as the Bills move to 5-2 on the season, we're going to break it all down with Bills legend Eric Wood, a former Bills center. So Eric, what did you think about this game?
Yeah, from the start, when you're looking at an 0-6 football team in the Jets, you need to get a lead on them early. I've played on 0-6 teams before, and the players do not care what their record is when you're in that situation. You're going out there trying to keep your job. You're trying to stay on the team. You're trying to go out and get wins because you don't want there to be a change in the coaching staff because that means a lot of the team's going to turn over. The problem is when you give a team like that some confidence, they're going to fight a lot harder collectively than they would have if you jumped on them early. And from the very get-go, the Jets controlled the clock in the first half, which really limited the Bills' possessions. And when they had a turnover on one of them and they weren't able to capitalize in the red zone, you have a missed field goal by Bass in the first half. Well, that gave the Jets some confidence to stick around. But credit the Bills' defense. They put the clamps down in the second half, and we'll expand on a lot of this throughout the show. But I was really impressed with the way the Bills came out in the second half, despite the fact that they couldn't get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, going into the third quarter, the Bills had allowed 186 total yards of offense to the Jets. Overall, the Jets finished with just 190 yards of total offense. That means the Bills' defense only allowed 4 yards of offense in the third and fourth quarter. A crazy stat to think about. We'll get into all that the defense did here on in a couple minutes. But first, let's get to Jordan Poyer, one of the defensive leaders, and hear what he had to say after the game.
Uh, that second half, especially for you guys, I mean, you guys really turned it on in the second half. What was the difference from the first to the second for you guys?
I really don't think there's a whole lot of difference. We just understood that, obviously we had a huge play right before the half that kind of gave us some momentum going into halftime. And, a couple runs here and there that they were able to get in the first half. But, we were able to settle down, especially in the second half, and get in a rhythm and get off the field on third downs. And so, we want to continue to build off of that. And that was that.
How much did you guys as a defense really need this performance?
Obviously we haven't been playing well the past few weeks, and so to come out here and hold a team to 10 points, you never want to say you're satisfied. Obviously, there's some things out there that we could have done better, but in the end, a win's a win. We'll have some good tape to learn from, some good moments, situational football to be able to learn from. They had that, third, I think it was 3rd and 20, going towards their tunnel. Just plays like that, we shouldn't be giving up, 3rd and long plays like that. So, like I said, nowhere near perfect, but, we got the win, and, we're excited. We're excited about it.
Thanks, Jordan.
Hey, Jordan, John Scott here. It looked like you guys dialed things up more with the blitz and the pressures in the second half. How much of a factor was that in the swing of things in the second half?
Yeah, Les and Sean started dialing up some pressures, like you said, and we were coming strong, we were coming weak. We were trying to disguise it as best we can to not give them a tell of where we were coming from, and so it left a couple free runners to be able to get in Sam's face, and huge plays down the stretch. I don't know who tipped it out of his hand at the end, but Jerry got a pick, and that's who we are, man. That's who we are. That's who we want to be. And so like I said, it'll be good to build off of something like that.
I was going to ask you, Tre'Davious and some of you other guys this week leading into the game mentioned a search for the defensive identity for this team. Did you guys find that this afternoon? And if so, what is it?
I think we'll go back to the tape and kind of see, obviously, we got some huge stops today, huge takeaways and key moments of the game. And I you want to kind of build off of, like I said, you kind of want to build off that and continue to create that identity, whether that's, we're taking the ball 2-3 times away a game, or we're getting off the field and you go for it on 4th down and we're stuffing them. So, like I said, we did some really good things today to help us build off of moving forward.
Appreciate it, Jordan. Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, John.
Hey, Jordan, Mike, Catalana. You mentioned Jerry at the end. Seemed like he was all over the place today. Got a sack, protecting the edge. You needed guys to step up. Here's a veteran guy. You needed pressure. It seemed like Jerry, along with some other guys, really came through today. Could you sense that? And how much does that help you?
Oh, I mean, anytime those guys up front are humming, man, that makes the game a whole heck of a lot easier on the back end. Those guys played a hell of a game up front, being able to get pressure in Sam's face, and a lot of line movement, a lot of we did some adjustment on the run, and so we always talk about how it starts up front, and those guys definitely showed that today.
All right, thanks.
Hey, Jordan, Matt Bove here with WKBW. I apologize because I think you are asked a similar question already, but just could you kind of explain a little bit of the difference between the first half and I guess maybe really the first quarter and then the success in the second half? And I apologize because I think you already asked that.
No, I think we just were able to settle down into the game. We started seeing similar plays and started seeing how they were trying to attack us. And so we were able to, settle down. We had a big play coming in halftime, a huge takeaway by Dane. And, that kind of gave us momentum going into the half to continue to play, as dominant as we were playing. Obviously, we still made some mistakes that we'd like to clean up, but it's definitely something that we could build off of moving forward.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Yep. Okay, Jared. One more question. One more. Thanks. Sorry. Appreciate you doing it. You came on a blitz on a 3rd and 10. I know you were coming on a blitz on one of the sacks in the first half. It seemed like you guys really, your pressures were really effective. Did you think, according to the game plan, you were going to get after them, or do you think it was a function you got them in a lot of 3rd and longs, and so?
No, we wanted to be aggressive. We wanted to be aggressive coming into the game. We wanted to attack. We didn't want to sit back on our heels and let them try to attack us and dictate us. And so, like I said, less than afraid of dialing up pressures early on in the downs, and even had some 3rd and long pressures that we were able to get home. I think on that last big sack, the 3rd down before the last big sack, I think we brought Tre'Davious on a weak side pressure, and he was able to get home. We were just coming from all over, trying to disguise it as much as we could. And, we would like to think that it confused them a little bit. Like I said, it was a great game plan by our coaches, and we just went out there and executed it to the best that we could.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah.
Eric, I think going into this game, a lot of us thought, all right, this is the perfect reset game for the Buffalo Bills. They've struggled the last 2 weeks against some tough teams, and this is the game they can reset the clock, get back to how they started the season, and then go into the next game strong. And in the first half, it didn't really look like a reset game for the Bills. They were doing a lot of things that they had done in the previous 2 games, but in the second half, specifically on defense, a lot changed. The defense finishes with 6 sacks, 2 interceptions. The Jets only were converting 2 of their 8 third downs in this game. So what was the adjustment? What was the shift there for the defense to start playing lights out in the second half versus the first half, when they were allowing a lot of rushing yards and doing a lot of the things they had done in the last 2 games that weren't so great or up to their identity that we know this defense to be?
Well, when you give up the yards that they did on the ground to the Chiefs, you're going to be tested. This is a copycat league, and they were going to test the Bills' run defense, and they did early, and they were able to control the game with their ground game and then their play action off of it. And anytime you run play action, it's hard to get a pass rush, and we've been very critical of the defensive line this year. We've kind of piggybacked a lot of the comments that Sean McDermott has made publicly through his press conferences and post-game interviews, that the 4-man pass rush has to be better. But when you don't stop the run, it becomes extremely difficult to rush the passer. You don't get them in 3rd and longs where you could tee off. You don't get just straight drop back and normal down and distance. You get a lot of play action where you have to play the run, then get to the pass. And then you get to your pass rush. So what the Bills were able to do in the second half is stop the run, and they also got a lead. And early on in the game, when the Jets had the lead, they were able to keep the ball on the ground, do their play action. They were really able to control the clock, and then that put a lot of pressure on the Bills' offense to make the most of their possessions, and they weren't able to get the ball into the end zone in their opportunities. You had a missed field goal by Bass early, and that let the Jets just continue to stick to their game plan.
And the kicker, Tyler Bass, had quite the game for the Bills. He ties a franchise record with Steve Christie for most made field goals in a game, which is 6, of course. And Steve Christie also did it on the road against the Jets. So let's hear from that rookie, Tyler Bass.
Hey, Tyler. First, I know it was an up and down day for you, but it was a team record-setting day. You tied the record for the most field goal makes, set the record for most attempts. Just your reaction to that off the bat. That 7 games into your Bills career, you've already got your name in the team record book.
Yeah, man, it's amazing. I just couldn't have done it without the guys up front. Couldn't have done it without Reed, Bojo, the coaches for believing in me. But yeah, it's a good feeling that we won. That's most important. I know I got some things to clean up, but other than that, I was very, proud of what happened and take that and just continue to move forward.
How do you think you fared mentally? And I know kicker's a tough spot, up and down. And
Coach always talks about character. It's really not about how many you make. It's about what you do after a miss, after something goes wrong. Anyone can handle stuff when things are easy. It's just about when something goes wrong, it's just about how do you handle it. You don't let it define you, and you just do, and you just trust everything that you've done in practice that week, and you just put it to show.
How much were guys talking to you on the sideline, whether it be after a make or a miss, keeping you in a good spot mentally?
Yeah. I mean, they just kept me level. They always got my back, and that's something that I'm grateful for. Just such a great organization. It starts from the top, from the Bagulas, the Bean, Coach McDermott. They always have had my back and kept me level, and that's something that gives me confidence to go out and to just perform for them.
Thanks, Tyler.
Josh Allen had his 4th 300-yard game this season, completing 30 of 43 passes. Let's go over to the QB and hear about what he had to say after today's win.
Hey, Josh, good win today. Just Cole Beasley specifically. You found him on 8 of your 9 possessions today. I mean, he just seemed to be working for you underneath on a day where, at least from the TVs that we were watching here, it didn't look like they were giving you too much deep down the field. So just how critical was he in terms of keeping the offense on schedule and staying on the field to finish drives?
Yeah, he was great for us today. And that's the benefit of having a guy like Cole. Super smart. Obviously, he sees his own defense very well. He knows when to find zones and sit down and give me good body language. So we were working him there for, the better part of the game. So he stepped up for us, obviously, and when teams want to drop back and put 7 or 8 in coverage, we got to find ways to continue to move the ball. And he's been awesome for us. So we got to keep plugging away. And obviously we want to score more touchdowns and more points there. But it is what it is. It's a division win. These aren't always going to be the prettiest of wins, and we understand that. So we'll take them when we can get them.
Perfect. Thanks.
Hey, Josh. I know you just said it. It's a division win. It's a win. You threw for 307 yards, and all field goal wins are a rarity for the Bills' history. It's like 17 times in their whole history. I think you got to go back to 2007 before today. Question though is how crazy, for sake of a better word, is it for you to know you had those kind of numbers yardage wise, and yet only ended up with field goals? And is there any level of frustration that you weren't able to get the ball in the end zone?
Yeah, I mean, I think we did a good job of moving the ball. Obviously, the stats kind of speak for it itself. We got to find ways to finish in the end zone. It's got to be better on my part. Couple penalties pushed us back and put us in a bad position. And shout out to T Bass for obviously making those field goals and getting us the win. So we'll take a good look at it. And the Jets did a good job of kind of allowing everything underneath and rallying to the ball and not letting anything over the top. But there's still certain situations where I could have put the ball in better spots where we could have given ourselves a chance in the end zone. So I know that, again, it's a division win. We're going to take these when we can get them. We're going to take all wins we can get them. Wins aren't easy in the NFL. So, again, it's a win.
And secondly, was there an energy match thing, kind of like first half? It seemed like they came out showing more of it overall. That's just the perception. Second half, obviously, you guys were the team momentum, energy, the way you moved, it looked like body language, everything. Did you feel that in the course of the game?
No, absolutely. Shout out our defense for obviously giving us a push there. Special teams wise, I thought Dre did a great job of putting us in a good position right off the get. So, again, it was a situational football type of win today. It took all three phases, but we can do a better job on offense. Myself, emphasize there myself. We can do a better job and put some more points on the board and make it easier living for our defense. But guys stepped up when we needed them to.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, Brian called 16 straight pass plays to start the game. It was reminiscent of last year in the opener. Pretty much the exact same script. I think maybe even the same amount of plays. You had 3 runs. You didn't hand the ball off until I think midway through the second quarter. Hey, how unique is that? And just what was the reasoning, for the game plan coming out? Was that something that you guys had scripted going in, or something you saw after the game started to keep doing that?
We understand, they've got a pretty good run defense, and we were just trying to take what they gave us early on and try to get their defense to suck up a little bit so we can maybe find a play to hit over the top. They did a good job of defending the pass early on. But again, I think we did a good job of finding runs when we needed to. Our O-line did a great job of it. That third down to finish the game, I know they went 0. I could have checked out of it, but felt comfortable with the play call and kept the clock moving. But again, if we get a first down there, it's over. And again, it's Coach Dable trusts me. I trust him and what he calls, and I got to go out there and execute. And I thought we executed pretty good for the most part throughout the day, except when we got down into the red zone. So we'll take a look and we'll learn from it.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, John Scott. I think you've kind of alluded to it, but how much of the looks defensively were the Jets giving you that were similar to what you'd seen the past few weeks from Tennessee and Kansas City?
Yeah, very similar. Just kind of playing soft zone and understanding I got to be patient and not put the ball in harm's way. Again, with how the game was going on early on, just trying to take advantage of every opportunity that we got and emphasize, ball possession and keeping the ball moving third down. We got to do better on third down. We got to do better in the red zone. So again, we're going to learn from it. We'll find new ways to get the ball in the end zone. And but again, shout out to our defense for what they were able to do today.
You had mentioned going into this patience in those situations facing that defense. How do you feel you were, especially early on and as the game worked on?
Yeah, just taking what the defense gave us, and we had guys running underneath, and guys were able to make some plays, but too far and few in between. Down in the red zone, we got to be smarter with penalties. I got to be smarter with ball possession. Can't fumble that one, and give ourselves a better opportunity to put more points on the board.
Thanks, Josh.
Hey, Josh, you told us after last week that and I think you referenced it during this call, that you had to do a better job of taking those underneath routes and taking what defenses give you. How do you feel like you adhered to that overall today? And did it open things up the way that, did it open the rest of the field up the way that you had originally hoped?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I felt like, protection wise, I felt like I knew where we were good. And, if we had guys coming hot, our guys did a good job of giving eyes and giving good body language. In the third quarter, throwing the touchdown to Gabe, understanding what they were in. Obviously, it got called back, so we got to be better there. And that starts with me making sure that we're all set and we're all on the line. And we can't have those little penalties when we had opportunities to put the points on the board. But I clearly saw what they were doing. Put the ball in a good position there. And again, if I saw something earlier and could have fixed it, I think we're talking about a different score. But it is what it is. Those are situations we can learn from. We got to be better. We understand that. But the fact is we're 5-2. Guys made plays when we needed them. Especially our defense and our special teams. But as an offense, we got to do a better job.
And just a follow up from that, this is, I think, the second game in a row you've led the team in rushing. We heard Devin say earlier that Zach's performance was a good sign that the run game's back on track. Do you feel like with your contributions, with Zach back, that this running game is trending in the right direction?
Absolutely. And our guys are doing a good job, and they want to run the ball. And, whatever Coach Dable calls, we got to go out there and execute. And I thought, there's a few runs where we popped off pretty good, and we had guys in the right spot, receivers blocking downfield. So obviously it's promising to see that. We got to do a better job, and I can do a better job with getting in and out of good looks and bad looks. So again, kudos to our 5 up front today. They did a great job of blocking.
Gotcha. Appreciate you, man. Congrats on the win.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, that's all for today. Thanks, Josh.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
The quarterback press conference is presented by Energy Mark, the official energy supplier to the Buffalo Bills.
Eric, stats-wise on offense, this team took a dip in the last 2 games like we have already talked about. This team playing quite different than in the first 4 weeks versus the last 2. And in the last 2, they were down to averaging 288 total yards per game. The first 4 was 408 total yards per game, 30.8 points per game in the first 4. The last 2, it was 16.5 points per game. So you see this team trending upwards in all those categories, putting 422 total yards on the board. And then you see them also scoring 18 points, of course, all those coming from field goals. I think it's a rarity where you see a team total 422 yards, but you don't see any touchdowns. This team was 0 for 5 in the red zone today, talking about scoring touchdowns. What did you see from that perspective as to how they were able to get down the field but not finish those drives into touchdowns?
Yeah, they simply just didn't execute well enough in the red zone, and it came in a bunch of different ways. There was early in the game, the McKenzie reverse that lost them a ton of yards, set them up after an offsides on the next play. I believe they were at 3rd and 26 or 2nd and 26. They got to 3rd and 18. Those you're not going to convert. They did have a touchdown pass to Gabriel Davis, and that gets called back from an illegal formation, which we didn't get to see on the replay who exactly it was. I'm assuming it was either a receiver or potentially, looking at the offensive line alignment, it could have been Darrell Williams lined up in the backfield, not on the line of scrimmage. They ended up calling Mekhi Becton on it the next series, so that leads me to think they were calling that one pretty tight. You had the sack fumble in the red zone in the first half on Allen. Late in the game, the 4-minute drive stalled. It was just a bunch of different miscues by the offense. When you add them all up, you're not going to put the ball in the end zone. Credit the defense for keeping the Bills in it and then just really shutting down the Jets in the second half where they didn't need to necessarily put the ball in the end zone. They didn't need to take unnecessary risks or chances. But this is something that they'll work on. The Bills have not had an issue with this all year. They came into the game 7th in the NFL in red zone offense. They were converting touchdowns on 74% of their red zone drives. That's a good clip. One thing they could have maybe done, and they were doing earlier in the year prior to the Allen shoulder injury, was a lot more quarterback design runs in the red zone. The red zone windows get very tight. The safeties can play low because they don't have to play over the top. Anytime you can do a quarterback design run, and I'm not talking read option, I'm talking pure design quarterback draws, quarterback sweeps, which we've seen Dable call in a number of times throughout his tenure in Buffalo. Those add an extra blocker with the running back, and that can pick up one of those low safeties. Maybe get back to some of those, but ultimately it's about execution and not going backwards when you're down there, and then you definitely can't turn the ball over, which we saw in the first half on the sack fumble.
Yeah, one of those bright spots on offense today was Cole Beasley. He was targeted 12 times, had 11 receptions for 112 yards. So let's send it over to Cole and hear what he had to say after the win.
Matt Bove, WKBW, congrats on the win. It feels like this game really turned around in the second half for you guys. What kind of changed?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome hearing her.
And we had a lot of penalties early. We turned the ball over. Anytime you do that, it's going to be tough. I don't know. It didn't feel like we had the ball very much either in the first half. So, and games are going to be like that sometimes. We just have to do a better job of sustaining drives and getting down there and really finishing in the red zone. That was the issue for us tonight. But all we can do is go back and get better from it.
And, obviously you guys get the win, but the red zone thing that you just brought up, is that one of those things that's just kind of like fluky where, you guys know you're a good red zone team and today you just weren't able to get it done? Or is this one of those things where you're like, hey, there's a problem here, we need to address this?
I don't know. We got to look at the film and see what happened with our execution. But, we definitely have to finish drives better regardless of what the issue was. But it's nothing to panic about or worry about. And we just it's something we got to look at and see what we can do to get better at that part.
Thanks, Cole.
Yep.
Hi, Cole. Jenna Cottrell in Rochester. Just a quick thing, like in a general sense, you guys snapping the 2-game losing streak, coming out with a win today. What's the mindset of this team, especially the offense, with the struggles that you guys did have?
There's no loss in confidence or anything. We know what we have. We know the talent we have. We just have to put it together on game day. So really all we can do as an offense is go back in, see what we did wrong, learn from it, and get better and move on. We know we got the guys. We just need to keep playing with confidence and really just go back in and see what we need to do better.
You today, over 100 yards, another great day. In terms of you and Josh, like with the spark that you're able to provide for him, like what did you see from him today and in his play?
Just a good job of persevering through things when they weren't really going our way early. That's something that you can't really teach. And, there's going to be times in the NFL where you got to play through some lows, and he did a great job of that today. He didn't really get frustrated or anything. He just stayed at it, and that's what you want to see from your quarterback.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Cole, like Jenna said, 100 yards today. I think it's your second 100-yard game of the season. This is your second season having 2 100-yard games in the same year. Both of them have come with Buffalo. I guess where's the coincidence there? What is it about, I guess, your role in this passing offense that's been so conducive to your success here?
Well, Dave's, he does a good job of giving guys, stuff that plays towards their strengths. And he's done that with me since I got here. He's made it a lot of fun for me, and he allows me just to do what I do. And I'm glad he leaned on me a little bit today and gave me a lot of opportunities. Just glad I can find some open spaces for Josh and get open for him. There's a few that I want back, but all games go like that. So I don't know. I just want to do my job and help Josh out as much as I can.
And speaking of Josh, we heard from him last week. We've heard from him today that he's got to do a better job of taking underneath routes, taking what defenses are giving him, especially if safeties are playing back. Where does that open things up for you as the Bills slot receiver?
With him taking the deep stuff away, that gives a lot of room for me to work inside and underneath. So when we play teams like that, it's got to be games where, I have my best games and I got to be on point for him. And, they give me a lot of freedom. So I can't really do anything that he's not ready for. I got to be very quarterback friendly and with all the freedom that they have. It was okay today. It could still be a lot better. So I'm just going to go watch the film and get better from today.
All right, man. Appreciate you, Cole.
Yeah.
Hey, Cole, first 6 games of the year, the defense had been struggling. How nice was it today where you guys clearly had some struggles trying to put it in the end zone to be able to rely on the defense to really kind of bail you out today?
Yeah, they did a great job today. And, we just got to do a better job of complimenting them as well. And we got to play off each other. They helped us out a lot today, and we got to do a better job of finishing off drives. Because, it makes it hard on your defense when they're playing in a close game the whole time, and offense doesn't really put any points up. We got to do a better job of scoring touchdowns when we get in the red zone and give them a little bit more of a cushion to play with. Maybe they can play a little looser when we do that. So we got to do a better job as far as that goes.
All right. Thanks, Cole.
With the Bills' win today, that means Sean McDermott has 30 since becoming the Bills head coach. He also surpasses Wade Phillips for the 4th most in team history. Here's Coach McDermott after the game.
It was obviously you will take a win if it was 1-0. I don't think you can get that, but 2-0 maybe. But the question is, did you, when you looked at it and took a hard look at it, how uneasy is it to win a game when you don't get a touchdown? And obviously those opportunities were there. Your quarterback threw for 300+ yards.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to win in this league. Vic, you've been around this league a long time. I don't care what standings are. Standings don't matter. Every team's in its own situation. You got to bring your A game every week. The stats speak for themselves, like you said. There's certainly things we did well, moving the football through the middle of the field. We can't hurt ourselves in the red zone. Some self-inflicted wounds there, and coming up with 3 instead of 7s, and that's what keeps a team in the game. Or else, it's a different game at the end of the game there. So I thought our defense stepped up, did a heck of a job in the second half. Special teams, Tyler Bass, I know, a couple miscues, but at the end of the day, he made some big-time kicks and big-time moments of the game.
And one follow-up, Sean, it seemed like your team showed, again, the numbers and all that reflected it, but far more energy and performing well enough in the second half and coming out of that 10-point hole that you initially got yourself in. Was there anything in particular at halftime, the message that you could share to kind of drive that?
No, I praise God for every victory, man, every loss, to be honest with you. I mean, these guys are great. I praise God for these guys in the locker room, man. That was a character win. It was a tough week. Again, another short week. It'll be good to be on a normal schedule this week for the first time in a few weeks here. But guys, we knew it was going to be like this. You play in the NFL, every week's like this, and you got to find a way to win. And again, I thought it was a character win, and the guys showed their character through this game. We got down early. We chipped away. I thought Josh did a good job of being patient and trusting the guys around him. And, we moved the ball, like I said. We got to be able to convert those into 7. So another great lesson for our football team, and we'll go back to the drawing board this week then.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Hi, Sean. Congratulations on the win. And looking at the halftime stats, first half, 186 yards for the Jets, -6 in the second half. I know you just touched on it a little bit with Vic's, answer there, but was there anything specific you guys identified, schematically to do differently in the second half? Was it just people just playing better in general?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I give credit to Leslie and the staff. They did a phenomenal job at halftime. The players are the ones that executed in the second half, and they got back to playing Buffalo Bills style defense and flying around. That was fun to watch.
And how about Dane Jackson, rookie, gets his first ever NFL start, gets a interception early in the game. How did that feel for you?
Yeah, how cool is that, man? Guys fired up on the sideline for him. And it just goes back. Our coaches do a great job working with these players, every player on our roster, from the minute they get in the door to the minute they leave, and developing our players. And, Dane, give him the credit too. Dane was ready. When his number was called, he was ready. And that's part of being a team. And we got to continue to get contributions from these young players. That's the strength of our football team as we continue to develop as a overall team here.
Thanks, Coach.
Sure.
Hey, Coach, nice win. Just specifically the pressure that you guys were able to generate on Darnold. Like, he had a lot of those rollouts early in the game, and then it seemed like you just shut that valve off completely after the first 2 scoring drives that they had. What was so effective about your pressure, and he just seemed squeezed in the pocket the rest of the game?
Yeah, I thought our guys did a good job again, Chris, of adjusting to what they were doing and how they were trying to attack us on both sides of the ball, honestly. So that's what you want to be able to do. You want to be able to adjust through the game. On the sideline, the players take it to the field and execute, and I thought we did that at a high level.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, good to see you. Congrats on the win. Just going back to the defense, just how badly did this defense need a game like this to get back to playing how we're used to seeing them play?
Yeah, it's big. We're all human, and confidence ebbs and flows through a season, but they stayed confident all week long, man. They had a great week of practice. They worked hard, and they've been working hard, Heather. And you saw the fruits of that labor today. And we got to continue to develop our football team. It's a journey of a season, and we're being challenged in different ways. Like all teams get challenged, and we got to continue to stick together. And I was proud of the guys the way they did that today. Again, it's a character win right there.
I guess just, I know that through the contact tracing, you guys determined who came in close contact with Dawson, but just, your reaction, just how tough is it to now, for the first time this regular season, have a player to test positive for COVID?
Yeah, unfortunate. It's the reality of our world, right? So we're trying to manage it like everyone else is out there, trying to make smart decisions. And through the course of the season, we expected, this may come up, and it did come up. The unfortunate part is when you lose players to it, number one, you're always wanting to make sure they're medically okay and hanging in there. And then the guys that we lost because of the contact tracing, to your point, unfortunate. But again, we just have to continue to learn through this. It's new for all of us in terms of what we can and can't do, and trying to play a football season at the same time.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Sean, we heard Josh talk a lot about taking what the defense has given them, especially when they're playing safeties deep to take away the explosive plays. How do you feel like he did that today, and how does a guy like Cole Beasley factor into that kind of game plan?
Yeah, phenomenal job by Josh. Showed a tremendous amount of discipline and patience. That's a next step for him in terms of taking what the defense has given him, remaining patient where he needs to be patient with calculated shots down the field, and wanting to get in our running game going a little bit. We popped a couple runs right there, credit to our offensive line, and it's just continue to evolve. Cole Beasley is such a critical part of our offense. In that way, he's got a great feel, and we were able to hit him down the seam a couple times there as well.
Gotcha. Thank you, Sean.
Sure.
Hey, Sean. What did you do yesterday, or what I guess was the emotions of the team as you guys got ready to board a flight for a road game with everything that was going on with the positive test and the contact tracing? How did you kind of keep everybody focused in what I'm sure was a bit of a nervous moment for the guys?
Yeah, curveball, Matt. And, wake up yesterday morning, and we had a positive test there. And then, our plan went into action. Give a lot of credit to Nate Bresky, our trainer, leading that effort. And then we got on the phone early yesterday morning, Brandon, myself, and Nate, and put our plan into action. We pushed things back, as you probably are already aware, to give us some more time to make the adjustments we needed to make. The players, man, they were phenomenal. Really cool to watch how they came in. And obviously they wanted to know what was going on. And by then they had heard some of it, but we tried to do a great job of communicating, and then went out there and had what we call a mock game or dress rehearsal practice. And they cared first and foremost for their teammates, but they were unfazed after that to come here. We made adjustments here as well with the meetings. We went virtual last night. And in terms of the meals, the guys had to come in and grab their meal and go in a bag and go back to the room. So just, again, true professional effort and a character win for us.
I know you mentioned it's tough to win in the NFL. Every team is can be dangerous depending on the week. What do you attribute the Jets getting off to the start they did on you? What was going on early on?
Yeah, we just weren't in sync. Offensively at times, and then defensively they hit the run on us a couple times, and we had some missed opportunities offensively there. So I think the bigger thing is that we made the necessary adjustments. Our players hung in there and showed a lot of heart and character, like I said.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, Alexa, you're up.
All right, I'll go. Sean, just one more really quick one back to the COVID situation. I know that obviously Tyler wasn't in those meetings because his wife was giving birth, but why was Reggie not in those meetings, and why was it determined that he wasn't one of those guys that came in close contact with him?
Yeah, we have these tracers, Heather, so that's what we go off of, and Reggie bounces in and out of that meeting and into some other meetings as well from time to time. So we really go by the letter of the law, and listen, we're trying to be as diligent as we can be, and that's what we have to do. We err on the side of caution, and thankfully Tyler's wife was giving birth. What an awesome moment, right? And then to come in here and get a big catch like he had, key moment for us in the game. So just awesome to see the mental toughness more than anything that he showed to be there for his wife on Thursday, and then to be able to come in and play at a high level like he did today.
Yeah, Tyler said that his daughter's already coming up clutch, and she's only like a day.
Yeah.
Awesome, thanks. I just wanted to clear that up. I just wasn't sure why Reggie wasn't part of that group. So.
Sure, understandable. Yeah.
Thanks.
Sure.
I don't know what's going on there, but okay.
We good?
Sean McDermott's press conference is presented by Hunt, the official real estate and relocation company of the Buffalo Bills.
All right, Eric, a lot of positives to take away from this game and certainly some things to work on. You love to see the way the defense played in the second half of this game, but you would also love to see the defense play this way for an entire game. So, of course, they're probably going to work on that in this coming week before the Patriots head to Bills Stadium without Tom Brady. It'll be the first time this season the Bills will play the Patriots. So what should the Bills work on before they see a Cam Newton and several different new pieces on this Patriots team?
Well, the Patriots are definitely going to test the run defense of the Bills. The Patriots will coming into this week in the NFL season, they were number 2 in the league in rush offense, but they're only 25th in points. And so for the Bills, it's all about stopping the ground game, and that becomes a lot tougher. As we explained earlier in the show, when you add the quarterback run element, it becomes tougher to stop. And so the Bills will really have to focus on keeping Cam Newton in the pocket, and then when he does do the designed quarterback runs, get him stopped. But ultimately, I believe next week the Patriots are going to come into Buffalo and test this rush defense, see if this rush defense is who the Bills were for the 6 quarters for the Kansas City game and the first half of the Jets game, or if they really fix all their issues in the second half of this game. So it should be a great matchup, and definitely looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. It'll also be the first regular week the Bills have had in quite some time. I know Sean McDermott and his players are happy to not be on a short week for the first time in like 3 weeks. Eric, thanks for being with us. We do appreciate it. If you want more coverage on this game, more highlights, more analysis, more sound bites, make sure you head to MSG on 11:30. Eric and I will be there to break it all down once again. For Eric Wood, I'm Maddy Glab. We will see you all next week.